that for you. But that's what it's been described as. It's the SMS of the internet. Let me just digress just briefly. Do you remember the conflict in, I want to say Afghanistan. It was before Afghanistan. There was a conflict. And it was where I want to say North Korea, but it was somewhere where they were controlling and trying to keep them from getting information out.
It was Turkey.
It was Turkey. Turkey is one. And I think it was a couple other places too, but Turkey is one. Try to keep them from getting information out. In fact, yeah, let's use Turkey. Thanks. We have Imam Ghalib Galab here. Y'all know Imam Ghalib Galab? Yeah, he was a special guest. I was hoping that announce. I had to wait to make sure he was going to be here before I announced. But he's going to perform. He's going to perform here first Sunday. After we get close. So don't run out. Okay, you'll be a good business treat. All right. So anyway, the Prime Minister of Turkey, he shut Twitter down. Shut it down because he didn't want people, because people were complaining about his government and complaining about him and talking about him and it's putting out. So he shuts it down. All right. But the people went and to the Supreme Court there in Turkey, and the Supreme Court ruled against him. And so he had to open it back up. All right. So Twitter has helped in a lot of places get word out. Information that you probably would never have gotten out. They have helped survive and help move forward revolutions. People who've been trying to fight for democracy and whatever, the only way they could get the information out was through Twitter. That was the only way they could get it out. All right. And they use Twitter for that. So you can see how powerful this social networking program is. Even though I'm focusing on it for business, it's a powerful tool for informing the world. You remember Imam Mohammed said the world is so small now, you can't do anything on one side of the world. Another side of the world don't know about it in the next, now back then he might have probably said the next day. Today, the next second, the next 2 seconds. You can't say something somewhere. Ask that guy, what's the guy who owned the, who currently owns them, ask that guy who owns the Clippers. You can't even say nothing in your house and think it might not get out, because if it gets out, okay. So, but it's a powerful software program, platform. All right. So, now, I said Twitter was a microblog, right? Microblog. How many people here know what a blog is? Have heard of blog? Okay. So it's a script, something like that, but and let me just go ahead and give you the Wikipedia definition, and then I'll elaborate on it. A blog, a truncated. You know what it means? Truncated. What does truncated mean? Cut off, shorten, truncated. That's what that word means. A truncated expression for web log. That's what a blog is. It's a discussion or informational site published on the World Wide Web and consisting of discrete entries. Those discrete entries are called posts. All right. Typically displayed in reverse chronological order. That means the most recent is what? If it's in reverse chronological order, the most recent post is what? But when it's in chronological order, the most recent would be first. There you go. The most recent would be first. All right. And that's why it says reverse chronological order. Okay. The most recent would be first. Until 2009, blogs were usually the work of a single individual, occasionally of a small group, and often covering a single subject. Now, many people who blog are writers, editors, authors, people like that. And if you write for a newspaper, you'll hear them sometimes say, "I'll blog at," and it usually be something with their name. "I'll blog at this," and this is how you can find my blog. There are people who who take different subjects. They may take a subject on finance, or they may take a subject on business, or whatever. And they write for a newspaper, but a blog is their personal perspective, okay? And a newspaper, usually they can't give their personal perspective. They have to adhere to the policies of the editor of that magazine or newspaper. But when you blog, you can come from your own person. So you may want to blog on Al-Islam. You may want to start blogging on the tafsir of Imam Deen Mohammed, okay? And there are people who will come to you and read your blog, just to learn your perspective. And when you're giving a blog, when you're writing a blog, it's your perspective. There's no necessarily right or wrong. It's just that's your viewpoint. Okay, that's what a blog is. All right. Now a microblog is a shortened length of a blog, and in Twitter, there's a limit to what you can put in a tweet. And a tweet is a series of characters that you send out. How many people know what that limit is? You can't go over how many characters?
You said it earlier, but I don't remember.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for y'all. Come on with it now. Come on. 140 characters. 140 characters, including periods, spaces, any other character. You can't go over 140. If you go over 140, you'll start seeing the numbers on your tweet go to red. When they go to red, what it's going to tell you is everything beyond this, we're starting red, ain't going to get sent out now. Okay. So what it's saying is cut it off there, and then you can send out another tweet as a continuation of that. All right. Yeah. So this doesn't mean you can't. So you can send out another one behind that, and another one behind that one, but it limits you to 140 characters. All right. That's a tweet. That's a tweet. A tweet, and Twitter, they have the little image of the bird. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. The little image of a bird. That's the Twitter's logo, right? The little blue bird.
Birds go tweet, tweet, tweet.
Right, they go tweet. That's where they got it from. They got it tweet. That's where they got the terminology from, using a tweet. Right. Okay. Now we covered that. So, microblogging, which is what I just talked about, but let me just read it. Microblogging is a broadcast medium that exists in the form of blogging. We don't have to go over that. We just talked about it. Now, the language of Twitter. Everything has a language. Just like Arabic has a language, Twitter has a language. The language of Twitter. And let me give you the little difference between Twitter and Facebook as we talk about the language. Now, I know more people now here are not using Facebook. How many people are using Facebook in the room? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let me talk about some differences. In Facebook, someone who wants to friend you has to send a request, right? In Twitter, they don't. In Twitter, they follow you. Let me show you the difference now. In Facebook, they send you a friend request and you can accept it or decline. In Twitter, they just say, I want to follow you. And they follow you. You can't unfollow them. And like in Facebook, you can unfriend someone, right? You can't unfollow them in Twitter. Now, if they become abusive in their tweets, you can report them to Twitter, and Twitter will deal with them. All right. So I want to show you the difference. So you can't unfollow them. Okay. And but on the same token, you can follow whoever you like to on Twitter if they're on there. Okay. So if they're on there, you can follow them. And I'm gonna show you how to do that.
Can you unfollow them if you
Oh, sure. You can unfollow them. See, if you choose to follow someone, you can decide not to follow them anymore. But the person you're following can't say, well, I don't want you following me. Okay, that's the difference between Twitter and Facebook. All right. So that's the way it's set up. Now, I'm going to mention these words, and we're gonna work with them either in this presentation or my next one. In Twitter, you have tweets. You have those who follow someone, or if you're following them, and hashtags. So those are the terms we're going to deal with today. Tweets, following, followers, and hashtags. Okay? Now, if you give me a second, I'm going to show you in Twitter, you have a Twitter handle. That's how you know it. That's how you know it in Twitter. You have a handle. I'm going to pull mine up. Now, I'm going to use my phone, and because I have Twitter from my phone, and I want you to just pay attention here to the screen over here, and I'm going to go to my home page on Twitter, and so you can see my handle. When you see my handle, I want you all to tell me what my handle is. Okay?
Is the handle the same as a hashtag?
No.
No.
Okay. Guess I better take the mic with me. So now, this is my iPhone that is nearing here. And I'm gonna go to this is my Twitter. So what's my handle?
Akbar 1.
There you go. There you go, buddy man. Y'all see that?
What is it?
A handle always begins with the @ sign in Twitter. Always begins with the @ sign. So can you? I'm sorry. At.
The circulating.
You know that.
Under the picture.
Or someone called it the app sign. App sign. Always begins with that. All right. So Akbar 1 is my handle. So if you go to Twitter and just type in Akbar 1, my page will come up, and you can just say you can follow me if you like. All right.
Where do you get it in the search?
For you, do you have an Android?
I have an iPhone.
iPhone. Just go to the App Store.
No, I have.
Oh, you have Twitter? Just go into search. Yeah, just go into search. You go into search and just type in. If you type in Akbar 1, it'll come up. Now.
Akbar.
Yes.
Sorry, could you repeat that for me? I missed.
Okay. You have the Twitter. You already have the Twitter.
No, I don't have it.
Okay, you don't have it on your phone. All right. So if you have the Android phone, right?
Yeah.
Then go to Play Store. And since we're doing this, those who have Android, just go to the Play Store. And when you get to the Play Store, like last first Sunday, we downloaded the Mosque app, right?
Right.
Okay, so today we can download Twitter. It's free. Now you got to sign up once you get it, but we can at least I can help you download the app. And then type in, when you get to the Play Store, just type in Twitter. And in the search box, type TWITTER, Twitter. And when it comes up, then just load it. Install it. Download, and then install.
Hit Twitter. See the little bird icon.
Yeah, the little bird icon.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Brother Akbar,
Yes.
I'm already on Twitter.
Okay.
Every time that I try to sign in, it always asks me, am I human? And they go, why do I keep having to go through that? And I
Now,
have to type in a
you have to type in simple verification.
Right.
Just tell them you're an angel and forget it.
That's a good question, and I'm glad you brought that up. Let me explain to you why this does this. They do that. Now, I don't have to do it on mine, but some do it, and I have that set up on my on the business directory, because they have what they call robots. They have these program robots that go out to sites, and they just go to login sites, and really they just try to get on your site, and it's a machine, okay? And so they come up with that. That's why they ask you, are you human? Because you have to do more than just go and sign in. There's some characters you have to put in. Those characters are like little squigglies. Sometimes they squiggle, so you have to really you have to decipher what those characters are, right? See, the machine can't do that. All right, and they do that to try to keep these machines from abusing the site and overloading the sites. Okay, and being malicious, because you got people that will, unfortunately, they'll send robots to your site to bring your site. It's called denial of